Yo, what's going on with everybody up out there? Welcome to the Fans Point of View podcast with your host, the most unknown known podcaster there is up out there, Chuck and Chubby, aka Clarence Hampton III. This ain't your coaches and pros, your X's and O's. This is the Fans Point of View and what I know. So let's go. All right. Now, I got asked a question a few times about the NIL. I told him, look, I really haven't done much thinking on it. Well, I'm here to break it down to you because I have done multiple videos about the NIL. I feel like this is my baby. I brought it up before. I mentioned even going in the NIL before about about pro teams actually paying and sponsoring college students, athletes, college athletes at the college level and being able to bring them straight into their teams without even drafting them, having them ready for their schemes in the pros, whether it's for hockey, baseball, basketball, or football. You know what I mean? Having them train up while they're still in college for that particular scheme or developing players, finding your own players and pro teams sponsoring players in that kind of sort and matter. You know what I mean? I have mentioned that before. I went into detail of that, but today I'm here to add some structure to this conversation, so let's get going with it. All right, so now, as you can see here, what I got pulled up here on the screen, uh, on the slide next to you is, and if I don't know if you can see my cursor, but I'm gonna walk y'all through this. Now, as we all know, a contract is an agreement, right? It is entering a formal and legally binding agreement between two individuals, correct? Okay. Now, it is a written or spoken agreement, especially one concerning employment, sales, or tenacity that is intended to be enforceable by law. Okay. We know this. I got the definition pulled up just in case. Look, I'm not saying anybody's dumb or anything. I just want to make sure that this is clear when I break this down. Now, let's say this is the university, said university, whatever university that may be. Okay. The NIL, the universities will control the name, image, and likeness. This will give them back control of that somewhat, just somewhat, but it's between the two individuals. Okay, let's say this is the individual for the NIL, the university they've chosen. Now they're going into a contract agreement. Once again, which is a written or spoken agreement, especially one concerning employment and sales. That is important. Why am I saying that? I got a basketball coach here, which would be the head coach of basketball would be acting as the GM in that sport. The head coach for football would be the head coach slash GM for that university in that sport. The baseball manager would be the baseball manager for that school slash GM for that particular sport. Now, the AD would be acting as the school's general manager over all sports. Okay. Or if they wanted to break that down and bring in the general managers for the school for each sport, if they have the funds to do that, then do that. But I think it would be a lot easier just to have the head coach acting as GM for their said sport. They're getting the players they need. They just go to the AD, get it cleared. Let's get a contract written up for this player here, whatever else. They bringing in staffs and so forth. Okay. Now, as we all can sort of admit right now, these college students or college, I don't know, let's not call them that, collegiate semi-professional athletes are now, whether you want to admit it or not, they are employees at their said universities once the NIL came into play. They always have been, and especially when the ones that are really good in their particular sport and they get people to show up to watch that player play their sport at a high level, and their jerseys are selling, their bobbleheads are selling, their headbands, whatever they got set, they're selling. It's selling, and the school is gaining popularity, and they're gaining revenue from that particular player. Okay, so we can agree that at some point these superstars in college football or basketball, baseball, whatever they're doing in college are bringing revenue and helping revenue come to their state universities, which makes them kind of an employee, right? Okay, moving on. So let's get that established on how much I know I brought in the university last year. Based off what I brought in the university last year, we need to sit down and redo a contract off of the revenue I may bring this year, or just handle that from the beginning and have a flat rate number set up for that. Okay. Now, the most important thing in school is the education, correct? Parents and everybody out there, we can all agree with that, right? So let's make sure, first off, if any injury or anything was to happen, God forbid that to happen. I've heard of athletes losing scholarships over that. Let's make sure that you don't lose your your scholarship to continue your base studies. At least get your 4 years of college in, at least to get your associates in some kind of degree, something to fall back on. We can all agree with that, right? So that needs to be in a contract first. Or you can break it down into doing a year by year contract, a 2 year contract, a 4 year contract, whatever deem you fit the university and both parties, okay, involved. Maybe the player don't want to sign a 4 year contract. Maybe it's a 2 year contract. Okay, let's negotiate that. Now this going to happen. It's already here. This is how you get some kind of control with this. Now, a jersey, like I said, jersey sales, memorabilia. How much revenue am I bringing in off of that alone with my name, image, and likeness? Autographs. Some people feel like filling out giving autographs, but some people like sitting down and doing autograph signings. That is another stream of revenue. It's going to cost you $5 to get whatever you want autographed. Now there's a huge line depending on the name, image, and likeness, but y'all can put that in a binding agreement between the school and the player, or the school can also set up and say, okay, can I have you here for an autograph signing from this time to this time? You know what I'm saying? Part of the contract or whatever. This is already happening, y'all. It's already here. This is how you get some kind of control with it. Okay. And let's say appearances, you know what I'm saying? There might be some middle schools or something in the area, or a high school in the area, to where you want to be a motivational speaker at, or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Appearances, you have to pay for those too. That's all part of a contract. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? Doing interviews with Fox or ESPN or whoever that may be. Sometimes a lot of these college athletes, they just give those for free because it's free publicity. But hey, NIL is here. You got to start paying for these things. The school has to set all this up to get some kind of handle on it, or the NCAA has to step in and provide the schools with this. And I doubt the universities would want the NCAA to come into their schools and place these people there. No, the schools need to have this in place to control the flow a lot better. Therefore, you don't have to bring the outsider in, and all the revenue stays between everybody who has to deal with that university and no outsiders in. Get a handle on this now, because it's happening. And securing your future is the most important thing, like I said, to make sure that you're getting your education. But that's how that will work in a simple breakdown, just like that. Make sure, let me run through this really quick again before I get on up out of here. The schools would have to have agreements, contract agreements with the players. The head coaches of every sport would be acting as general manager slash head coach for that particular sport. Saying because they want the players they want, correct? They evaluated the talent, they want the players they want. They want to make sure that these players have contracts. Not every player will get a contract, but contracts need to be in there. Not every player will be deserving of a contract, but if we know they came in on a scholarship, and then they performed well, and you want to make sure they're around in the mid-season, pull out a contract. Be able to have that there, because I'm telling you, it's going to be done. They're already in the works with doing this. They're all, but I could almost guarantee you this is already being done. If I'm speaking about it and if I'm thinking about it, then it's already been thought of and already the process already has begun. And the last thing these universities want is for the NCAA to be controlling the whole narrative and placing people within their schools and taking over revenue and contracts with their schools. That's the last thing these universities want. But any questions and any other thoughts that you may have, feel free to put them in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening. Make sure that y'all like, subscribe. Y'all add me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, and all that good stuff. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Up out.